Neither she nor Ruth knew that he was living there under an assumed name, and when he finally did call on Monday, Marina let him know she was furious that he was up to his childish tricks again. He got very angry and ordered her to remove his name and phone number from Ruth's address book. She said she wouldn't, and they argued about it. He claimed he did it because he didn't want the landlady to know his real name. She might, he said, read it in the paper that he had defected to Russia. He told her he also didn't want the FBI to know where he lived because his contacts with the Bureau were unpleasant. He never did tell her what name he had registered under at the rooming house. She is further aggravated by the fact that Lee came out to Irving last night, Thursday instead of Friday, in violation of their understanding with Ruth. Lee is allowed to come out on Friday evening and stay over the weekend, but this week he'd come out a day early, which he had never done before, claiming he'd gotten lonesome for my girls. But he wanted more, begging her to come live with him again, in Dallas, with their 2 girls. For all his faults, Lee loves the children. Last night he played with them out on the lawn in the gathering dusk. Ruth's children, the neighbor's kids, and his and Marina's own toddler, June. He loved that. They were still out on the lawn, and it was nearly dark when he asked Marina for the 3rd and last time to come back to him. He even agreed to buy her a washing machine, an unusual gesture for Lee, who was always so close with the little money he had. Marina nearly did give in. If he'd waited until Friday evening, she might have said yes. The truth of the matter is, despite their sorry marriage, he's all she's got. Even the warm friendship and support of Ruth, who only speaks sufficiently serviceable Russian to teach it part-time at a private high school, and is delighted to have Marina around the house to pick up better Russian from her, doesn't make up for Lee's absence. But she isn't ready to give in yet. For once, she enjoys having the upper hand, however slight. Lee didn't sleep well last night, although he turned in at 10 o'clock, an hour earlier than usual. She could tell he was very upset when he retired for the evening and wasn't really asleep when she crept into bed after a late, hot bath. Around 3 a.m, she rested her foot on his leg, but he shoved her foot away hard. My, he's in a mean mood, she thinks, believing he's angry at her for not coming back to him right away. She senses he may not have slept at all until about 5 o'clock in the morning. His mood has changed since last night, as it so often does. He seems upset rather than angry. Marina, at the mercy of his moods, knows the difference well. He is quiet and calm. He doesn't ask her to come live with him in Dallas anymore. As Lee finishes dressing, he comes over to the bed. "Have you bought those shoes you were going to get?" he asks. "No, I haven't had time," Marina answers. "You must get those shoes, Mama," Lee tells her, then adds, "Don't get up, I'll get breakfast myself." It was an odd comment for him to make, since there was little danger that she would. Lee rarely ate breakfast. It was usually just a cup of instant coffee, which he had had this morning, and she certainly had never fixed him anything before. Why would he say that? She wondered. Before he leaves the bedroom, Lee kisses the children, as he always does, then walks to the bedroom door. He stops and returns to the side of the bed. He has always kissed his wife goodbye, and Marina assumes he will do so now, but this time she only hears his voice. "I've left some money on the bureau," he says, in his odd, if fluent Russian. "Take it and buy everything you and Junie and Rachel need." In the dark, he has left $170 in bills and something else, his wedding ring, quietly placed in a little china teacup that had belonged to Marina's grandmother. She won't find it until later that day. "Bye-bye," he says, then turns and goes out the door. Marina is surprised at her husband's sudden and unexpected kindness. She knows his $1.25 an hour job doesn't really allow for a lot of new shoes, much less everything she and the children need. He certainly had never said such a thing before, but she is used to his erratic behavior, and it doesn't keep her from drifting back to sleep. 7:21 a.m. Linnie Mae Randall fixes a lunch at the kitchen counter for her 19-year-old brother, Wesley Frazier, to take to work. She sees a man crossing Westbrook Street. She doesn't recognize him at first, but realizes he is heading to where her brother's automobile is parked in the carport. "Who was that?" Linnie Mae's mother asks from the breakfast table, having caught a glimpse of him as he looked in the kitchen window. "That's Lee," Wesley says. He looks at the clock. It's late. Wesley likes to leave the house by 7:20 for the 15-mile drive.